Coach, your thoughts on the game?
You can't spot any good team 28 points in a state championship team, state championship game. So, I mean, I felt like our game plan coming in was good. You know, getting the opportunity to play in space. We felt like defensively we were, had to minimize the big plays that were going to be had today from them on their side of the ball. And I just think, we could win special teams and put ourselves in a position to, win a ball game against a formidable opponent.
Questions?
Coach,
Yes.
talk about the resiliency you saw from your team being down 28-0 and then you make it a ball game.
Danny, I'm never going to question a Springer, right? Before I got to the school in 2008, I didn't know what it was, but I mean, I've been around 16 seasons now. I'm very aware of what a Highland Springs Springer is. I'm very aware of what the community is all about, and it'll never be a give up. People talking about them beating us by 40 points. That's never even thought in my mind. Down 28, I looked at some of these guys and other kids on the team and just relax, calm down. Let's get ourselves back in the game. Some things we didn't want to do, but resiliency is something that's it's ingrained in them from the time they walk the streets of Highland Springs, right? They know what it's all about, and they know we're going to fight to the bitter end.
Coach, just talking about that comeback, I know it was just around 8 minutes and some, and all of a sudden there was the spark. Where did it come from?
It's just them. I mean, it's I guess we work on it in the program. We talk about it. We have a lot of conversation about not giving up. That was the last conversation I just told them just now, right? As men and young men, you got to grow. Fool you on your feelings. Like, your feelings don't mean anything right now. Just be resilient. Understand that, when you're playing a game or you work in a job or you in a relationship with your wife, with your spouse, or with your kids, everything's not going to go the way you want it to go. But you are the foundation of what's going on in the program. So I'm never going to falter in that way. I'm never going to waver in that. I'm not going to allow them to waver in that. It's something that we talk about on a regular basis. And albeit I only have them 8 hours out of the day, when they go with their families, I hope they're relaying the same messages. I mean, and they're talking about it on a regular basis. It's talked about and it's taught as much as we possibly can to get them to understand it from the day they walk through the door to the time they walk out the door, that you have to be your best at everything that you do.
How do you feel you all did with containing Jeffrey Overton today? I know that's one of the things that was the key to victory.
I mean, if you contain Jeffrey, they have other guys that can play and play at a high level. I mean, the number one thing, man, for us was for us to play well. You know what I mean? Keep ourselves in the game. Do not let the game get out of hand. And early on it did, but again, they were able to bounce back and put themselves in position to compete, to play for, to win the game at the very end. Trying to set out to say, okay, we're going to stop one individual, it's probably not what our defense said. We knew we had to just play, complementary football, right? We wanted to make sure if the defense was getting off the field, the offense was, continuing drives and getting them to the point where they were going to, kick balls, and then we can play well on special teams. We wanted to do all three phases of the game really well, and I think at times we were really, really high, and then at times we were really, really low, and we talked about that even before we came out. Let's be as flatlined as possible. And when you're up and down in the game of football, it's going to cost you a game.
Coach, in all your years at Highland Springs, was this the most challenging offense to prepare for? And what tweaks and adjustments did you all make as a staff at halftime to take them from scoring 28 the first 12 to only 14 the last 36 minutes of the ball game?
So the first part of your question is this the most challenging? No, it's not the most challenging. They're spreading the ball out. They have talented players, but we played against a Maury team in 2018 that had talented players. We played against Stonebridge in state championships that, offensively, they're doing something that you don't see on a regular basis. Lining up at 4 wide receivers, we see it every day, right? It's now executing when you're in that position, right? When you have the opportunity to making sure you execute and put yourself in position. Them guys play football; they're really good football players. So letting them get out in space and letting them get out in the open and run around, that's the nail in the coffin for you. You know what I mean? So we've played other teams that we felt like are pretty good. We felt like other offenses were a little bit more complicated. But Coach Simmons and his defensive staff just does a phenomenal job, period. I say this with these guys sitting here, and it's not pointing any fingers at anybody. Like, the coaches coach, the players got to play. You know what I mean? We just got to all collectively work together to get what we want accomplished. So we're calling things that might not be the right call, and the kids are making plays. Then we're calling things that might be the right call, and then they're playing well enough for us not to make a play. Right? I think that goes back and forth the entire game, almost like a really, really good tennis match, right? And then you just got to figure out, you know, how to make it work and settle your kids down and settle the coaches down and just kind of move and play as much complementary football as possible. And early on, we just didn't do that.
Was the adjustments more on the run game for them or the pass? What did you guys talk about at the break specifically?
At the break, I don't even deal with the defense.
Okay.
Right? So I'm not even going to take any credit from Coach Simmons. You know, Brennan would have to address that, or Noah would have to address if he did anything or said anything that's different. I think, again, just settling down. Early on, we went forward on the first drive, thinking we could pick something up. We didn't. That gave him an opportunity to score. The second touchdown was a pick six, right? So we kind of put ourselves in the hole, and then once we just settled down and played football, man, we played pretty well, but just not well enough to win.
Coach, the first 4 or 5 drives, you guys didn't pick up the first down until Noah had that 50-yard touchdown. So what were you seeing the first quarter or so from the Freedom defense that was giving your offense a little bit of a trouble?
I don't want it to sound like I'm not giving them credit for winning the game, but it was a lot of lack of execution on our part that allowed us, or that put us in a position where we didn't move the ball. You know, it was I'm gonna do this instead of doing that. You know what I mean? That's what it was more than anything. I cannot take credit away from them. I don't want to take credit away from them. They played well, and sometimes their kids put you in a position to where your kids don't make the play. But a lot of it was us just not making the plays.
Were there any adjustments or things you did differently starting in the second quarter?
I can't say what I said, but yeah, there was some adjustments. We just gotta, again, man, you're working with guys that want to be great. They want to all be great. And in saying that, you know, sometimes you press a little bit too much, right? I don't know a lot about baking, but I watch my wife, right? And when you add a little bit too much of an ingredient, like your cake may fall. If you don't add enough of your ingredient, your cake may fall. You understand where I'm coming from? I watch from a distance. I don't ever touch. You understand where I'm coming from? But I can give that analogy saying, like, maybe if you're pressing too much and you run the wrong route and the quarterback, it could be that. If you're running the alley as a defensive player and they get to the edge, you know, you're supposed to be outside, but you felt like you could make the play and they might have been a step faster. It's so many little things that go into the game of football that at times we just, you know, we did not play the way that we feel like we're capable of playing.
Coach, you were without Braxton today, obviously, but Noah seemed to step in flawlessly. Talk about the game he had.
I mean, I'll say this about, he's been asking for the ball a lot. Noah started off injured, well playing a little bit, and then got injured game 3. So there was a little bit of an adjustment, and there was some growing pains, right? And there was some maturity that was developed. And then when the time comes, you know, our kids are going to step up and play. We know that. And he had an opportunity today, and the ball was in his hand. There was no question about where he was going to be and if he was going to do anything. It was just a matter of us, you know, finding him when he was open and finding him when he wasn't open and just giving him opportunity and giving him a chance to play at a high level, and he did so today.
Khristian, talk about the day you had. I know you had 2 turnovers, but you also ran for a score. You threw a touchdown pass, and this was your 2nd straight state championship game, your last as a Springer. Just talk about the emotions of the day and what you saw from the quarterback position.
To speak on the day that I had, we didn't win, so that's self-explanatory. But I mean, I think we played well enough to keep ourselves in the game, but you can't kill yourself. At the end of the day, Coach Johnson always talks about we can't beat ourselves at Highland Springs versus Highland Springs, and when you throw pick sixes, stall drives on 4th and 1, and different things, and give them great field position, that's not winning football. You can't spot a good team 28 points. As far as the emotions, I mean, it's emotional. I mean, last game, with a team and a program that's done a lot for me. Coach Johnson's done a lot for me, so it just meant a lot to win this game. Came short, but I mean, can't ask for more because I know my guys gave effort, and I know one's coming back will be better next year. So I just gotta continue to go forward and keep pushing.
For any of the defensive guys, Brennan, Noah, speak on just what's the emotion after a game like this. You battle back, you're down 28-0. Look, you give yourselves a chance in the second half. Is it just you feel like you wish you had another quarter to play in this one? You might get to them or catch them? What's going through your mind, Brennan?
We just didn't finish. So we didn't finish.
Noah?
Reiterate what he's saying, we didn't finish. You know, coming out at halftime, we had a different, mindset, but at the end of the day, we didn't get a W. So,
Coach, I'm sorry. You done? Okay, sorry about that. So either coach or players stepping up from the 5 to the 6, what's the difference? Is there a difference that you all have seen all
There's
season? No difference?
Football.
Yeah, football.
No difference.
I think, there's a difference when you're talking about different levels of college football. It's a difference when you're talking about playing in the NFL. You know what I mean? There may be a difference maybe from Division 6 to Division 1, right? From 5 to 6, I mean, we've played great talent and great teams in Division 5, and we played great talent and great teams in Division 6, and the same goes on for Division 4. We haven't played any 3s, 2s, or 1s, in my tenure, but I mean, we've played some teams, regardless of the division, that just play really good football. And when you coach well and you have talented athletes, whether you have 6 or 7 of them, or if you have 27 of them, football is really football. It's played in between the white lines, and emotions can get high and emotions can get low. But I mean, to be honest with you, you got to snap, you got to catch, you got to kick, you got to block, you got to cover people, you got to tackle, and that's what football is all about. That's probably a question more for guys playing college football or something like that. But in high school, in the state of Virginia, there's not a lot of difference for us. It might be for some other teams, but not for us. We don't think so.
Well, I do want to say that, I mean, it started off how it started off, but at the end, you guys did give the people what they wanted to see, this Freedom Highland Springs matchup, and you all were there because you deserved it. So I just want to tell y'all kudos. This was the game we wanted to see, and it was as competitive as we all thought.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Khristian, just speak about offensively rallying the troops when you were down. How do you keep your guys as a captain, as a leader, as a quarterback, from hanging their heads, and how do you do that?
I mean, you just talk to them, and I mean, really, there's not much to do too much of that on this team. It wasn't really any guys who dropped their heads. I mean, we got guys who just want to go make a play. I didn't see guys drop their head or anything. You may have saw something different, but guys didn't drop their head. I knew that they would go out there and perform and keep playing. I mean, we got 2 guys in here who went down to Chambers last year, went down 14-0 first quarter. We played the Verona game. They went up, I think, 14-0. I mean, we're comfortable being uncomfortable. We just didn't finish today.
Okay, speak about your scramble touchdown run there. You looked like you were looking for a receiver. Nothing was there, and toward the end there. I mean, we saw on film that at times they get out of their rushing lanes and there would be a lane. I saw that the defense they were playing, so I kind of predetermined that I would, if they did what I thought they were going to do, I would find that lane, and then from there I had receivers blocking downfield and just me and the athlete. Thank you. Brennan.
Thank you. There we go.
Brennan Johnson, the same type of question, rallying the defensive guys. I mean, was there a need to do that, or did they have their heads in the game, when you were down?
We just know we had to finish, like I said.
Yeah.
We knew we had to finish the game. So basically, we're not going to stop till the clock hits 0-0 in the fourth quarter.
Regardless of the score?
Regardless, yeah. We got to keep going. That's how Highland Springs football is. We're never going to stop. Keep going.
Number 1, what'd you see in the punt return?
2 at his back turn. Then after that, I was out. There was nothing really to it. I seen the gunner. It was 2 gunners in the outside when he was blocked, so I just caught him asleep.
Anything else? Great. Thanks, guys.